Every 10 years, U.S. Census data directly translates to dollars for important programs like food and housing assistance and early childhood education. The United Way for Greater Austin, Texas, is one nonprofit working to serve those in need, regardless of citizenship status.
They still show up at our doors. Our families are still struggling, and just because they're either not legal citizens or, might be here with visas, does not mean that they're not actually using the services.
Nonprofits like these say not counting everyone would lead to fewer federal dollars for programs people rely on.
That means that state and local funding has to make up that difference.
With dozens of executive orders signed and more to come,
I'm not making new law. I'm eliminating bad policy.
President Joe Biden is directing the U.S. Census Bureau to count everyone.
Why is it controversial to count everyone in the census, regardless of citizenship status?
Well, in a lot of ways, this has not been very controversial in the past.
James Henson, director of the Texas Politics Project, explains power in Congress becomes increasingly important as the divide between Republicans and Democrats widens, and congressional representation is directly tied to the census.
It's really deciding, basic decisions about who's going to get represented and who gets to belong in the community that's represented in the political system.
2 years ago, Alabama sued the Census Bureau. They argued counting undocumented residents unfairly gives more congressional seats to states with larger undocumented populations like Texas and California, while other states like their own lose seats. But experts say the United States has long included everyone in the census because the Constitution says to.
The Constitution itself says that representation shall be based on the number of persons, and that the census shall count all persons. And so persons does not differentiate between voters or non-voters, citizens or non-citizens.
Just as many nonprofits and communities across the U.S. serve everyone, citizen or not.
Families are still hungry. Children still come to school. School lunches and school breakfasts are still being provided. So who is paying for that if it's not the federal government?
The U.S. Census Bureau is now finalizing the count with everyone included. Those numbers could be released in March at the earliest. In Austin, Texas, I'm Melanie Torrey reporting.